Hello folks, I'm Lenny Magill with the GlockStore Performance Center, and today we're going to talk about something that, well, everybody wants to know, how to take their magazines apart. And I've showed it in a couple of different ways, and it always comes down to having a very stout punch and using the punch in the bottom of the magazine base plate to depress this spring-loaded little post that intersects with the magazine base plate. And it does so that it kind of locks in there so the magazine base plate doesn't come off. In order to take it off, you'd put the punch in there and push down. Now, pretty simple, right? The challenge is that it takes a lot of strength and grip strength and a good steady or hearty punch to be able to do that. So people call us a lot of times and say, gee, you make it look easy on the video, but it's a lot harder. So I always tell people, look, you have to take this thing and put it into your lap and get some, some power on it and get your shoulders over top of it because it is, rather, stout. I mean, it's on there pretty well. You'll notice when you take it off, there are two small little ears on either side of the magazine body that intersect with two small little inserts or little cutouts, should I say, in the base plate itself. And that is captured onto the body because of those, as well as with that post that we talked about earlier. So when you first get a brand new magazine, it takes a little bit of effort to break that plastic to plastic seal, if you say, I mean, basically it's just brand new plastic together. Once you do it, 3 or 4 times, or at least once the first time, after you get through the first time, it's much easier the second time. But regardless of all that I've said here, there are still people who call up and say, I can't take that magazine base plate off. And I understand, because one, they may not have a stout enough punch. 2, they may not have the dexterity and the strength to get up there and really do it. It does take some effort. So, as you would expect, someone noticed the difficulty of that and has come up with what they call as a magazine disassembly tool. And there are 2 sizes, one for the 9mm 40 caliber magazines in red, and one for the 45 and 10mm magazines in this lime or bright green. So, that being said, let me demonstrate how this thing works. Glock 17, brand new from our retail store downstairs. Drop the magazine out, make sure it's unloaded, make sure the gun's unloaded when I touch it. Visually inspect the chamber. It is unloaded now, keeping my finger off the trigger now, pointing the gun in a safe direction. I want to go ahead and pull the trigger. So now we have an unloaded gun, we've got an unloaded magazine, and I can proceed to work on this demonstration. I'm going to remind you again, most accidents happen when people are doing this kind of stuff. They didn't think the gun was loaded. Always take the time to inspect the gun, drop the magazine out, inspect the chamber, and pull the trigger in a safe direction. Make sure there are no rounds even in your workspace, because accidents do happen, and it's always the same thing. I didn't know the gun was loaded. I've done it, and everybody I know who is in the firearms business has had an accidental discharge. Okay, so now that being said, here's the magazine. And here's the disassembly tool. And we're going to work with a red one because this is a Glock 17 9mm magazine. Basically, the logo facing up to me that's engraved on this tool. I'm going to go ahead and put the magazine in you'll notice the tool has a little cutout where it's not complete, because that's going to be our spring pressure. You also notice inside here there are 2 little tabs that are going to help give us pressure. The objective here with this tool is going to go ahead and squeeze the body of the magazine to make it easier to remove the magazine base plate. And it is significantly easier. And again, I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate it here. So we're going to go ahead and take the tool with the magazine facing this direction and slide it all the way down. And you'll see that the detent is down there like so. Now, I've tried this a couple different ways, and the way I found to be easiest for me to operate this thing is actually put it on a table. You can try to do it in your hands, but there's really a lot going on there. So if you put it on the table, you can actually squeeze this guy, and you're going to squeeze it together from the top here so you get some leverage. And then I'm going to come over here and just get my hand at the edge of the table so I can push in and push down at the same time. You see how easy that was? All right, so I squeeze together the plastic, and I push in with my punch and push down, and now basically it's been dislodged, all right? So I can go ahead and take the tool off, and here's the key to this too. You want to make sure that the spring doesn't go flying across the room. So you want to capture the magazine and the insert plate with your thumb. So slowly take this off. So this is the base plate. Inside here is called an insert plate. And that is an item that is sold separately because people do lose them. There's your base plate, and there's your insert plate. Now I've got it under spring pressure, and out it comes. And there's the insert plate, and you'll notice the little post there that intersects with the hole in the bottom of the base plate. You'll also notice the bottom of the base plate, the little cutouts. See if we can get those. Good shot of those, yep. That intersect with the posts on the magazine body. And that's what makes it difficult to take out. All right, so now just to repeat the process, I'll go ahead and put it back together. And again, the insert plate goes in post up. It only fits in one way. It's kind of a tombstone shape. And you have to, there's always, always a little tricky, so make sure you don't have anybody sitting close to you because you don't want this to fly across and hit him in the eye or hit him in the face or anything like that. You want to make sure it's pointed away from your face as well. Using two hands, I'm going to go ahead and put this insert plate in there and depress the spring down into the magazine body. And once I capture it down here like so, I'm going to take my base plate and push it back up. Now you'll notice it'll get stuck a little bit on those posts, but you just have to force it over top of that thing. And you do that like so. And that's always a good sign because what happened now, you'll notice that the spring popped down and the post actually intersected with the hole. And the magazine is completely assembled. Again, let me go ahead and do the other magazine now. This one's never been done. I did practice with that one just once. So this is the same process. I'm going to just do it all over again. Again, logo facing up to me. I'm going to put the magazine in so that it ends up facing downward or the flat spot is up. How's that for demonstration there? Okay. Again, I can lay it on the table and I'm going to squeeze it to compress the plastic body of the magazine, which makes it easier to pop off the base plate. So take it over here to the edge of the table so I can actually get some leverage on this guy with my punch from my little punch set and squeezing this with my left hand, putting the post or the punch into the hole. Now it should just come straight off here. And there it's off. Okay, so you see I've dislodged it from the detents and the cutout and the little things that little posts that stick up there on the magazine body. And I'll do the same thing again. I'm going to go ahead now and push it off with my thumb. And be careful to capture that spring with my left thumb. And there we go. And here it comes. Oops. And again, there's the insert plate. And there's the spring. And there's the follower. And you can clean these off. Never need to put any oil on these. Just go ahead and just wipe them off with a towel or something like that. Every once in a while, the magazine tubes will get dusty inside, and that's the purpose of even being able to disassemble the magazine, so you get in there and clean it out because it gets a little gritty, especially you guys live out in, in the desert areas and like that. When you drop these on the ground, they get a little bit of dust in there. Doesn't really affect performance, but again, if you have a lot of oil inside here on the spring, which you don't need at all, okay, it can run dry. But if you have oil, that oil will attract dust. That dust will then goop up, and it could affect function. So that's why we keep them dry. But every once in a while, if they get kind of dirty, you can take them apart just like this. You can wash this thing out in your dishwasher if you want, and then let it dry, and then reassemble it. And then just pat this down or just hose it off and let it dry completely. No oil is necessary. And pop it back up into place. And again, the trickiest part is that this is a spring-loaded device, so be careful not to hit anybody in the face. Go ahead, you'll see it's a it's a tombstone-shaped insert plate, it's called. You've got the little post going to be facing up because it's going to intersect with the hole in the base plate. I will go ahead now and put it back in there. And it's always tricky, but once you get it there, it fits just like that. And once I have it down there now, I'm going to go ahead and slide my base plate back into place. And once it's halfway on, it gets a little bit stuck on those holes there, so you just got to push it down. A little bit of muscle there. And now it's in there, and I will go ahead and you'll see it snap right into place. So that is the magazine disassembly tool. These are pretty cool, actually. They work really well. So if you're having difficulty taking the base plate off your magazine, this is a very inexpensive little tool that's going to help you defeat the plastic pressure there. And it makes a lot of sense because it's designed to squeeze the plastic and give you a chance to push that off with minimal effort. It's available for 9mm in the red, 40 caliber, 9mm 40 caliber 357 here, and the green is the 10mm 45s. I am Lenny Magill. This is the GlockStore Performance Center. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.